Hello everyone, my name is Cassandra Brown and my husband Philip Brown is the founder of Veteran Benefits and Claims Consultants. This video is in response to the feedback from his previous video entitled Veteran Benefits and Claims Consultants, I'm Here to Help. This video is set up in 4 easy segments to follow. The first segment is how to request your records. The second is how to use the va.gov website to your advantage. The third is how to file your VA benefits claim. And the fourth is how to file your appeal using the new VA appeals process. So stay tuned till the end. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and comment below. And hopefully you will receive your desired results.
Hi, I'm Philip Brown, and I'll be taking you through segment 1, how to request your military service treatment records, or STRs. There are 3 ways to requesting your military service treatment records. The first is if you've never filed a claim before with VA, you want to request your records through the National Personnel Records Center using the standard form SF-180, or also called the SF-180. You can get to this form using the va.gov website. Just type in va.gov, and as the home page comes up, scroll to the bottom of the page to the link that says VA Forms. Click on that link, and then when the page comes up, it should be 2 search boxes in there. The top one, you want to go ahead and put in 180 and click search. You should see the form link pop up that says SF-180. Click on that link. Next, what should happen is that page will come up showing the actual National Personnel Records Center website. Scroll down to the middle, to the end of the page, somewhere roundabout, and there will be a link for the actual form. All right, so click on that link. The form will populate. You'll see it'll come in a 3-page part. The first page will be the instructions to filling out the actual request. The second page will be the request itself. And the third page will be where to send the request to. So you want to make sure you pay close attention to those instructions, because it'll lay out what exactly you need to do. It's straightforward, pretty simple form to fill out. And so the second way for requesting your military service treatment records, or STRs, is if you've filed the claim before the VA, then VA will potentially have those records. So you want to request your claim folder or a C file from the VA using their FOIA form called the VA Form 3288. Now, you'll fill that form out. It's pretty straightforward as well. You can go to use the same method. You can go to the va.gov website, scroll down to the bottom of the page until you see the link that says VA Forms. Click on that link. When the page populates, you should have the 2 boxes to show up again. In that top box, put in 3288. You'll see the form populate on the side, the form link. Click on that link, download it. It's a fillable form. Just fill it out, and then you want to submit it to the VA's centralized intake center, or the evidence intake center. There is an actual fax cover sheet that you can use. Just Google centralized or VA centralized intake cover sheet, and you should be able to download that cover sheet. Fill it out completely, and it is a fillable form, and then attach that to the actual request itself and submit it to the VA directly. The third is for the National Guard. or reservists, there's a little bit trickier. The VA are not always able to get their hands on those service treatment records for those particular service personnel. They'll try a couple of times, but if the folks don't pick up or they can't get a hold of them, then they'll send a letter out to the veteran, saying that it's ultimately your responsibility to get those records. So just to cut down on time and the possibility of them not getting their hands on it, here's a way to go directly to the source. So in every state, there's a state adjutant general's office. So wherever you served as a National Guard or reservist, at the state adjutant general's office, there's a records personnelman that's embedded in there. You can Google the state's adjutant general office's information, contact information, call them directly, and have them route you to that records personnelman, and they can direct you on how to fax your SF-180 to them directly, and they'll mail those records out to you if they have them at the unit. If not, they'll be able to tell you where they forwarded them to, and they may even forward that request to you, to the custodian of your record. If they're not in their hands, they may go ahead and fax that over for you. If not, they'll tell you where to fax that form to. So those are the 3 ways that you can request your service treatment records. I strongly encourage you and advise you to get those military service treatment records in your hands, or your VA claim folder in your hand, before you actually file your claim for VA benefits. That is one of the most important parts, or factual parts, to filing a claim for benefits. So that's it for this segment. Stay tuned to segment 2. How to request, how to use the VA.gov website to your advantage. Welcome back. This is segment 2, how to use the VA.gov website to your advantage. I'll kind of walk you through the different uses for the VA.gov website. Follow along as I move through this. If you have your computer, stop it at any time, stop the video at any time to kind of get your placement, and just continue to follow along. This is a very useful site for finding forms, as I kind of showed you a little bit in the segment 1, and just to kind of get your feet wet in requesting forms. If there's any VA application that you want to submit for benefits, you can find the form here on the VA.gov website. So from the home page, you'll simply scroll down to the bottom of the page where there is a link for that says find a VA form. Click on that form, on that link, and the VA forms page will come up. There will be 2 search areas. One will say form number, the other will say title and keywords. I typically use the form number. If you know the number on the bottom of the VA application that you're about to submit, place that in there in that top box and hit search, and that should populate, which will give you once you click on the form link itself, should give you a fillable form you can fill out. If you don't know the form number, you know the name of the form, just put the name of the form in the second box and use the same process. You can also use Google to kind of find out what form you would potentially need for a particular benefit. Data. Let's go back to the VA's VA.gov homepage. So it's kind of tricky to find it on the homepage of VA.gov when it initially populates. So I'm gonna go back there and show you how to get there. All right, so at the very top of the page, you'll see a link that says About VA. Go ahead and click on that drop-down box, and then you'll see in the very far left corner, it says VA Organization. Scroll down to the second tab that says VA Benefits Administration. Click on that link. As that link comes up, now you're on the page where you can navigate through the VA system, the VA website system, to get important information regarding any benefits, claims, or information you need pertaining to anything dealing with the VA claims benefits section, the cemetery section, or the hospital section, depending on the tab. And as you can tell, I clicked on the benefits section for the purpose of filing for VA benefits. So I advise finding the VA regs and going through those regs. And I'm going to show you how to get to those regs, because they're not always easy to get to on these websites. There's a couple of steps you have to go through to get there. All right, so on this page that we're on, after clicking on the Veteran Benefits Administration tab, you'll see, if you look over to the very far left, there's a dark gray list of links that you can click on. The second tab would be compensation. Click on that compensation tab. Under that, when it drops down, is compensation home, types of compensation, types of claims. Click on types of compensation. Now, what happens is once you do that, you look to the far right, you'll see a section of links that says resources. This opens up to the actual VA regulations that you need to be aware of or have access to in order to make sure that you're meeting the basic criteria for filing for a claim, so that you're not filing a unsubstantiated claim, or you just want to make sure you're maximizing your ability to file for your claim using as much information, right information as you can. You can't always count on the VA to be there readily available to give you information with the long wait times and with the COVID-19 and the wait times have increased, and since the public offices, the regional offices, public contact sections aren't open because of the COVID-19, you really need to be hands-on with this. And so really start to depend on your own ability to gather the information for yourself. And that is why I'm showing you how to go and gather this information, because it is a little tricky to get there. So if you look over in the resource section, you'll see several different tabs. Appeals modernization, that will tell you about the appeals process. Military sexual trauma coordinators will give you a list of those. Give you a list of agent and attorney fee coordinators. Tell you about the appeals, benefits A to Z, federal benefits guide, or benefit rates. If you want to know about how much you should be getting or potentially will be getting for a particular benefit, whether it's compensation or an ancillary benefit. And the ancillary benefit are those additional benefits that come along with being service connected and at a certain range. Like for example, when a veteran gets to 30%, at least at the minimum, a 30% combined service-connected disability rating, then they can start being paid for their eligible dependents, whether that's a spouse and or children or a dependent parent, along those lines of additional benefits. And those require separate applications as well, and there's information on that too that you can find on this website. So the benefit rates will tell you the different amounts for this fiscal year, where you would be in terms of those additional monies that you may be eligible for when you start meeting those eligible thresholds like 30% and more. All right, so that tab is for that, finding that information out. The next tab is very important. It's the VA Code of Federal Regulations. So I'm just going to click on this tab. If you're there, click on this tab as well. And so you'll see here the Code of Federal Regulations, or the CFR. The VA calls it the 38 CFR. Part 3 is the adjudication tab. And so that's a tab that tells you, if you click on that, it'll show you all the different segments, and we'll click on that so we can give you a little deeper information on this. So as you click on that, and they've changed the page a little bit, but you can, let's go back here, click on that. All right, so yeah, when you click on that page, it will show you the different sections of the VA regs. What evidence you need, what's the criteria for a particular benefit is, what the eligibility for dependents. It just outlines all the different areas of filing a claim and how the VA rates your ability to apply, or qualification, or eligibility, the actual eligibility for applying for those claims. So let's go back over to the page here. There we go. So in that adjudication tab, you'll see subpart A, which talks about pension, compensation, and dependency and indemnity compensation. There are several tabs that will lead through, like to be a veteran. They have the periods of war, they have compensation requirements, they have the duty periods, how long you needed to be enlisted or in service, character discharges that the VA recognizes as not a bar or hindrance from being eligible for the VA benefits. There's the relationship tab that explains the spouse and surviving spouse, and all the things dealing with dependents is under that, and dependent eligibility is under that tab. So there are different tabs for different reasons for filing. So you want to make sure you pay close attention to that. It also has a tab on the 38 CFR Part 4 tab, Schedule of Rating Disabilities. If you click on that, it outlines the requirements for particular conditions that you may be applying for and how the VA rates those conditions. So you want to make sure that you kind of look over that. It takes really a trained eye to really know how to get through all the specifics of each one of these conditions. There's a lot of medical terminology, but it's good information to take a look at and see where you are in the process. So just start to familiarize yourself with that. Now, leaving there and going back to the home page, There's the tabs that got you over to the resource tabs to the far right, the tabs that are back over to the far left, the section of gray tabs, dark gray tabs, have the education and training information. You see that on the education and training tab. Vocational rehabilitation and employment, that's if a veteran that is eligible to go to school, the VA will give you the criteria for that and how to apply for it. Home loans, life insurance, pension, again, the appeals modernization, any special groups that you may fall under. And it just, it gives you the information that you would need moving forward with a claim. And I advise going to this particular website. Like I said, there are some steps to getting to this page or to the other pages. But if you take these couple of steps that I showed you to get to the actual VA, I call it the VA homepage, the actual VA homepage, because when you type in va.gov, it doesn't give you all these links to the information that you need. But it does give you a link to get to the links of all the information you need. So if you'll follow along with that process, it'll get you to where you need and get this information in your hand. I hope this was helpful to you. Stay tuned for the next segment, which is segment 3, how to file your VA claim. Thank you, and we'll see you in just a little bit. Hi, and welcome back. This is segment 3, how to file your claim for VA benefits. And in this segment, I'm going to show you in a hopefully short and easy way how to file your claim for VA benefits. So first, I want us to not look at filing a claim for benefits as just submitting a simple application. Let's look at it as a packet that consists of 3 parts. The first part is or one of the parts is the application itself. The second is a supporting statement as to letting the VA know what particular issue that you're wanting VA to take a look at, or just letting the VA know why you're actually filing your claim and how whatever the conditions are affect you. So it's good to have that statement, because the application itself doesn't really give you room to let VA know. It's a lot of guessing that kind of has to go on unless you be more specific about what's going on with you. So that supporting statement is key as well. The third part is the actual medical evidence that you want to attach to your packet. And this is evidence in the form of the service treatment records, the military service treatment records, or the STRs, any dental records if you're filing dental claims, and also any private records, medical records that you may have, or doctor statements. Just a sidebar, a side note, make sure that whatever evidence that you're using to support your claim, make sure it's specific to your claim. In other words, if, for example, if you file a back condition, don't submit knee conditions, evidence to support knee conditions. You want to make sure that you let VA know, here's the evidence to support this claim that I'm putting in for my back. So it needs to be specific or relevant to the condition. Now, if your knees are bothering you and you're having back conditions too, because of your knees, then those are considered secondary conditions, or conditions that are aggravated. So you would still need to submit relevant evidence. If you don't have evidence for a secondary condition, don't worry about it. The VA should provide you an exam that will extract that evidence. Because we don't always have secondary conditions. Those are things that sometimes happen over years. So where an incident may have happened in the military, over years of dealing with those primary conditions, they could start to affect other areas in the body. Arthritis, spreading, conditions deteriorating because of balance and affecting other body parts. So those kind of secondary conditions or aggravation conditions of aggravation will sometimes not have the initial evidence at the same time as the primary. So VA should schedule you an exam to give you an opinion as to the likelihood of those being related. Okay, so those are the three components to the claim packet that you'll be submitting. So let's talk specifically about each one. The first part is the actual application, and there are many different applications, but specifically what I want to kind of home in on is, claims for new service-connected conditions, claims for maybe increase. Those are claims that you already may be already service connected for, and the condition has gotten worse, you feel like it's gotten worse, and so you want to be reevaluated. Now, sidebar to that before I move forward, if you do see that your condition is getting worse and you want to be reevaluated, just be aware that the VA is reevaluating that condition, and if it's not done right, it could be adverse. The VA could reduce that benefit or start movement towards reducing that benefit. So just make sure that you do your homework in your research in terms of using the VA.gov website to get over to the resource section where the regs are, and look under the tab that says Part 4, Schedule of Ratings or Disabilities, and see what the symptoms may be that wasn't there before but now are. We are not all doctors, so we may not know right offhand the conditions or the symptoms that are alien us in one area is actually related to the primary area. So that rating schedule and getting in there can give us more information about what's going on with us. The rating schedule is generally set up from each condition, each diagnosis, from each body part. And so you can do a quick search. Just when you get onto click onto that tab that says Part 4, it'll bring up this whole list of conditions and blocks and things. You can go Shift F and it'll bring up a search engine, and you can put in your particular condition and then hit you can hit enter for that. Whether it's a back condition, you can put if it's a spinal issue, you can hit spine and hit enter. If it's knees, you can punch in knees and hit enter, and it'll just take you to that section that you can find more specifics, like your particular diagnosis or ailments or whatever the case may be that's documented. So as you look at it, each of those conditions will have rating blocks, like, say for instance, one of the low back conditions might have 0 to 100, or 0 to 50, or 60, or 70%, but they'll be in blocks of symptoms. And so as you look at your symptoms block, you may be 10% now, you feel like it's gotten worse. Well, let's look at the next block up and see if those symptoms are in there that you're experiencing that warrant you going up to the next block, the next higher level in your rating. And this is what the VA will be looking at. So if you're still in that 10% block, then they're going to leave you there. It'll be worded as continued. But if they see that it's gotten better, you're not in that box anymore. You actually, and the doctor is saying that you've gotten better, they can really start looking at you to move toward reducing that amount that you're getting. So be careful about the submitting an increase. Make sure you go and do your homework like what I'm telling you about. So when you're looking at those boxes, again, the symptomology, the symptoms in those boxes will help you be more informed about what's going on with you. Like I said, we're not doctors, not all of us. Some of you might be as veterans, but you may not know all the symptoms that may be related to that service-connected condition. And you actually are experiencing these conditions, and it is getting worse. But it's different from just it's different or more legitimate when you have evidence to support it. So you can be saying something, but if you're not giving the doctor a full picture of what's going on, you can't always count on the examiner to ask you the right questions to give a clear picture of where you should be at, and that all translates to the rating block. So you need to be well informed so that you can get in the right area of rating, which translates to benefits and compensation that you should be in. Let's see. So we talked about the applications. You want to make sure that you download that application using the VA.gov website. And we talked about that in the previous segment. So make sure you do that to get the right form. Make sure you read the instructions. Make sure you fill it out completely. And then you want to make sure that you download the supporting statement form, which is the VA form 21-4138. And that's the form that's in support of your claim. It's the form that you can use for general statements to the VA or to tell the VA what's going on with you. And so when you fill out your application, it's going to give you a list of boxes that you'll put in whatever conditions you have. And I think there's 9 or 10 available boxes there to list any conditions that you're wanting VA to look at, either under the new claim increase that we talked about, secondary or aggravation, are those residual conditions that I kind of highlighted, and or reopen claims. And those are the claims that are basically beyond a year. Maybe you've been denied for them once before, and you've passed a year. You won't want to get that looked at again because of new evidence or something along those lines. You want to get reevaluated, re-looked at. So you'll list those in that box, but you need to be able to tell the VA why you are, and not everyone does this. This is a practice that I see is very important and very instrumental in keeping your claim moving gracefully through the system without the VA having to come back and ask you or call you or mail out letters to you as to why are you filing this claim or what's going on with you here, or just can be very time consuming. So you want to make sure that you use that VA form 21-4138 to list with the VA what it is you're filing. If it's number one, I'm filing a claim for a new claim for back issue, Number two, I'm requesting an increase in evaluation for my current service-connected disability. You name that condition, because I'm experiencing this, and this. I know that it's gotten worse. I want to be reevaluated. If it's secondary, I believe that this condition is affecting this other condition, either secondarily or it's directly aggravating another non-service connected disability. Or this is a reopened claim, I feel like I have the evidence to support this being looked at again, and so on and so forth. So that is the statement supporting your claim or supporting your application that you want to have along with your application. The last part is your evidence. Your evidence being your medical service treatment records and your claim folder, but specifically your medical service treatment records. And so you want to extract out of those records, once you get them in your hand, every relevant notation, diagnosis or symptom that's in there, or event that highlights what it is you're claiming. And I would advise making a label for each condition so that it's not all jumbled together. Excuse me. So in other words, what it looks like, you can get a blank sheet of paper and put on there back conditions, service treatment records, and then put all the back conditions behind that. And then the next condition can be, if it's your knees, you say knee condition, bilateral or both knees or right knee or left knee, whatever the case may be, service treatment records. And then you pull out of your military service treatment records, all that evidence, and attach to the back of that. So you have your back and your knee and the evidence behind each tab, and so on and so forth for any other conditions or symptoms. And then you put that component. Once you get your evidence labeled and stacked up, you have that. You have your supporting statement. And you'll have, on top of that, your application, which will form your VA claim packet that you're wanting to submit. And this should be in a nice, neat packet that the VA can process through in an accurate and timely manner, because you prepared it in an accurate and timely manner. The backlog is steady being backlogged because of it not really being taken care of on the front end. And I think that there's a major disconnect between the veterans, us as veterans, really fully understanding that we need to be responsible for our own claims and not count on the VA to work the claim up for us. That's our responsibility. Now, they do have a duty to assist, but that duty is very limited. And that duty really is limited to disseminating the information, hence the website, for you to grab hold to the information so that you can process it, you put your claim together to submit it. So with that being said, I hope that was very informative to you. I know I went on a little longer than I anticipated, but it's better to give you more than enough information to make the right decision and put your claim together in an accurate and timely manner so that it's processed in an accurate and timely manner. Thank you for tuning in. The next video will be, or the next part will be segment 4, how to file your appeal using the new VA appeals process. So stay tuned, and I'll show you how to process through that. Hi, and welcome back to our final segment. Segment 4 And segment 4 is how to file your appeal using the new VA appeals process. So in this segment, I will show you how to file your appeal, which is your dispute against whatever the denial reason was the VA gave you, using the proper form to get it to move through expeditiously as well in an accurate and timely manner. So there are several ways to file these appeals. There's quite a bit of information, so I won't go over every detail because, like I said, you can go into the va.gov website and go over to the left side. Once you get into the benefits page, you want to go in and scroll down towards the bottom where it says Appeals Modernization tab. Appeals Modernization tab. And this is on the gray side, the dark gray side where all the tabs are. You should be on the same page as the resources or the page prior to it, but you'll have the gray tabs on the left side. There's a tab that is labeled Appeals Modernization. Just click on that tab and it'll open up a page that will discuss the Veterans Appeal Improvement and Modernization Act of 2017, which is the new way that the VA receives your disputes. And so there's two ways to keep it at the regional office level and have the regional office reassess or relook at with a fresh set of eyes any claim that was denied that you're disputing. And so that first one, I think they list the higher level. There's two options: the higher level review and then the supplemental claim lane. So the higher level is where you don't have any more evidence you want to submit. You think the VA made an error or made a mistake on your claim. You just want someone else, a second opinion, if you will, from a more senior person. And so the form that you would use for that application will be right off to the right of this. You can download it without having to go back to forms. Now you can go to forms if you want, but you already have the application at your fingertips right here without going through those extra steps. So just look over to the right side. It says Appeals Information and Instruction Forms, and the VA Form 21-0995 is the decision review. The VA Form 20-0996 is the higher level review form that you'll need for that particular processing lane. If you don't, again, the higher level review lane is if you don't have any more evidence, but you want to submit your claim in to be looked at again from a more senior veteran, more senior adjudicator or processor. And you'll highlight that, click on that tab. The tab will bring up the actual application, and I happen to have taken the liberty of printing this off. So there is page 3 and 4 of 4 pages. There's 4 pages. There's the instructional page. That normally all these applications will have an instructional area or page, sectional page to it. So the first 2 pages are instructions. And I advise again, like I always do, go through and read the instructions because it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do and how to file your claim. The second is the other part of that is the 3 and 4 is the application. Make sure you sign and date it as well. So this application is kind of self-explanatory. Just go through it It'll show you what you need to do. The second way that you can file through is if you have supporting evidence or supplemental evidence that you want to send in and have them re-look at it. And so that form is the VA Form 20-0995. And you'll fill that out, attach the evidence, like I said, and use the same tabbing method that I told you in the previous video to make sure that you have your evidence tab correctly and submit that in there. Now, with that application, that's pretty straightforward. You'll submit that in. You'll use that VA centralized intake cover sheet that I mentioned at the beginning as a cover sheet for these, and you can submit those in. Now, the third way to dispute these claims is to go ahead and bump it up to the BVA. Now, I don't recommend doing that right off. I would say ask the VA to look at it again using one of these first two methods, keeping it at the regional office level. If you get the same reply back or decision back from the VA, then bump it up to the BVA, which is the court level. And then if you decide to do that and go that route, or when you decide to go that route, you want to use the VA form 10182, and it's here on this page as well. All three forms that you need are located right here. And this form is labeled Decision Review Request, Board of Appeals, Notice of Disagreement. And then there's boxes there on those forms that you can check whether or not you're going to submit any evidence, just like you would for the regional office level. If you want to submit it to them for hearing, or if you're submitting supplemental evidence. So let me just take a look at that so that we can make sure that we are on point with that. Yeah, so it says Board of Review Options, and it says a veteran law judge will consider your appeal in the order in which it is received, depending on which of the following review options you select. 11A, so you can check this box, direct review by a veterans law judge, or 11B, evidence submission reviewed by a veterans law judge, or 11C, hearing with a veterans law judge. So those are the different selections that you can make if you bump it up to the Board of Veterans Appeals or the BVA. Now, this can take a little time to get these back. Normally, I don't want to give you a time on it, but don't expect them back quicker than probably, if they stay at the regional office level, quicker than 4 months back. Could be a little bit long, could be a little bit shorter. At the Board of Veterans Appeals level, I've been seeing them run about the same length of time just prior to the COVID-19 event. So give or take, it can be a little longer, or it can be a shorter period of time in comparison to the regional office level. So that's just some food for thought when you're filing these. Don't be in a complete don't get discouraged if they're not. It doesn't seem like the VA is moving as quick as you would like it to. This is a process, and hopefully in these methods that I'm showing you, it will help to streamline the process quicker for you. Well, that's all that I have for you right now. I want to thank you again for tuning in and staying with us to the end. My prayer is that you will get the desired response that you have set out to get, and that you get the benefits that you deserve. I want to say thank you for your service to the country, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment at the end, at the conclusion of this video. Thanks again, and God bless you.